Hello and welcome to Kojo's Trick Lab. Today I'm going to talk about how I get big tricks consistent. So I'm not really going to be telling you what to do with regards to your training. I'm just going to be talking about my own personal experience and what I've learned over the years, the big turning points in my tricking that made it possible for me to get stuff like triple cork consistent so I could do it every session and other big power moves like that. There were certain points in my training where things switched in my head, my whole approach changed, and things became a lot easier. It might not be the same for you, but hopefully my experience helps you in some way and you take something away from it. So first off, I'll start with an obvious one for getting any big trick consistent. My approach is doing it a load of times on the trampoline or some kind of safe environment. If you've done it 1,000 times on a trampoline or into a pit, then you know where you are in the air and it's going to be much safer and much easier for you to go through it on the floor. If I'm going for any new power move, I want to know how it feels like. I want to know that I can do it and I'm going to be able to land safely if I fail. As when you're chucking something and it's brand new, maybe you've never done free twists before and you try and triple full on the floor, then you're going to struggle to know where you are throughout the move. And that's when the move becomes really dangerous. As if you do 2.75 twists and you don't know where you are, you're gonna risk rolling an ankle or spraining your knee or just messing yourself up. So I like to always know where I am in the air. So before I ever tried a triple cork on the ground, I'd already done over 1,000 on the trampoline, so that when I did try it, my body just clicked into that muscle memory, and even if I didn't land, then I didn't hurt myself. I'm sure a lot of you already use that approach, but yeah, that's something that's really worked for me and quite a few of the people that I train with. So next I want to take you all the way back to 2011, 2012, around that time. Before I first messed up my ankle for a year, before any of that, when I was first starting out with the tricks. I used to really put tricks on a pedestal and I used to put myself down a lot. At sessions, I was always telling myself, oh, why do I suck? I'm so terrible, I'm awful at this. And I was just doing that all the time, every session. I was always saying stuff like that. Even when I landed something new, I still wasn't happy with it. I told myself, oh, I suck so bad. There's kids who are way better than me. What am I doing? And really, that doesn't help you at all. So if you're doing that, stop doing it. I was training really hard. I was super into tricking. I was doing as much as I could, studying technique, conditioning, stretching, putting in loads of work, having loads of sessions. And I was progressing pretty fast, but not as fast as some other people that I trained with, even though they didn't train anywhere near as hard. And those people, generally, I normally perceive to be quite arrogant or cocky. Now, lots of this may have been completely internal, as when you're in a place where you have low self-esteem and low self-confidence, you'll often look at people who do have a lot of self-confidence and really believe in themselves and see them as arrogant. This was the single biggest hindrance to my progression in all of my time tricking. I feel like this has affected my progression even more than the injuries that have taken me out for months and months at a time. Just not believing in myself and thinking there's a problem with believing in yourself. As I got better at tricks, I did start to build some self-confidence, but still I wasn't completely there. It took a long time to really get there. When I first went to America and went to New Heights Gathering, that's when it really changed. Now I won't name names, but I saw a lot of kids spamming triple cork, and at the time I hadn't landed triple cork yet, and it just hit me. I just felt like, what am I doing? This kid can do this move and I can't. And that's when my approach really started to change. I didn't put these kids on a pedestal and think they were some kind of incredible godlike figure. I just thought, no, this is just a kid and he can do triple cork and I can't. Is it actually that hard? Is it something that I could do if I change the way I look at it? And that got me thinking about triple cork and what it takes to actually be able to do it. Because when you think about it, it is kind of arrogant. You're doing a backflip with 3 twists in off one leg. The only way you're going to be able to do that is if you believe you can do that. And to believe that you can do a backflip off one leg with 3 twists is a pretty big thing. You have to think a lot of yourself to believe that you can do that. And that really triggered something in my mind. It made things click. I realized I needed to start believing in myself fully if I was ever going to get as good as I wanted to get. A few months after that, I was able to land triple cork on the floor. I'd already done it over 1,000 times on the trampoline, and I was at LXG gathering, and I just believed that I could do it. I finally got to a place where I was sure that I would land. I was certain that I had triple cork. After I did it, the next thing I did is do another triple cork. So I'd done 2 triple corks the first time I'd ever done it. And then after that, I did another triple cork. So I'd done 3, the first session I'd ever done triple cork. It was already quite late into the session, so the next times I tried it after that, I started to get a little tired, so I thought, leave it for today, as it's my first time doing it. But that approach kind of stuck with me. It wasn't enough to just land these big tricks. I wanted to be able to land them every single time. I wanted them to not be big tricks for me. I wanted them to just be a part of my tricking. And in my opinion, the single most important factor in making that happen is self-belief. You've got to see these tricks as something you can do. Think of the hardest trick that you can do, and then think about how you can do it. Every time you go for that trick, you need to be expecting to land. You need to be thinking, I've got this, I've done this before, I know I can do it, it's not a problem for me. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to try that trick, I'm going to do that trick. So next time you try your hardest trick, just try approaching it like that. Before you go for it, think, I'm going to do this trick, I've done it before, I know how to do it, I'm gonna do it. So this approach really started to change things for me. I started to go for much harder combos, because before I'd even tried the combo, I already believed that I could do it. So when I did try it, my results were much better. In the past, when I'd always thought, could I do that? Maybe not, maybe I can. Then when I did try these things, I'd fail. But once I started always believing that I could do these things, tricking started to improve. I started to get much, much better. And then when I was working at the trampoline park, I took this a lot further. I started to challenge myself and challenge my mindset. A lot of my trampoline training at Rush was to train my mindset. It wasn't even about the actual tricks themselves. That's why I do various stunts. I do flips off things and onto things, scary hard things that don't even really factor into my tricking. I don't plan on doing full in, full out on the floor. I'm not really that into tumbling. I'm not trying to train tumbling for long enough to get that. Though I learnt full in, full out on tramp, as I just saw it as a challenge that I could overcome. I believed that I was capable of doing that, so I did it. Now this went further and further until I was able to really improve my mindset. I was able to do full in, double full out and triple backflip on the trampoline while I was extremely ill. I felt terrible this session, I was bedridden. But people were going to the trampoline park, so I thought I'd go along. I went along, felt terrible, but I saw it as an opportunity to test my mind. I thought, what if I could do the hardest trampoline tricks that I've ever done whilst really ill? Now this might seem a bit stupid. I only did it because I felt up to it. I started doing a few things on the trampoline and I just felt like I could do it. And when you feel like you can do something, always do it, as you're going to learn a lot from it. I felt like I'd be able to do full in, double full out, and I fully believed that. I was like, yeah, I know I can do it, even though I'd never tried it. And then I tried it a few times and I got it. And same with triple backflip. The same thing happened with cork in, full out, which is something no one else has ever done. I just believed 100% that I could do it, and that's what made it possible. If I thought maybe I could cork in, full out, I wouldn't have been able to do it. You'll see from this clip that I'm forcing it all the way through. You can tell that I believe that I'm gonna do it. I'm not just giving it a go. Tricks won't happen if you're just giving them a go. You need to get your head to the right place before you go for the trick. You need to already believe that you've got it. You need to know that you're gonna land it, and then try the trick. And then you're probably gonna land it. That's the hardest bit, getting your head to that place. So I'd recommend setting yourself random challenges. Maybe you can't do a wall flip or a palm flip or something. Do that. Maybe you've not done a gainer off a hard wall. Learn to do that. The more of these little barriers you can break, the more you're going to learn and the more you're going to improve your mind. Maybe you've not done a Cody on a trampoline. That's a really scary one. So if you can get over that fear and believe that you can do it and commit, it's just going to help you more in your tricks. You're going to strengthen your mind. Even now, while I'm recovering from injury, I believe 100% that I'll be able to do cork in, back out on the floor in the future. And I believe 100% I'm going to do triple gainer on a trampoline. All of these things, aren't really dreams, they're things that I plan to do, and I know that I'm going to be able to do them. Now, I could be wrong, I could break both my legs and never flip again, but my life's going to be better and I'm going to improve faster if I go through my training believing I can do these things. 100%, not just dreaming about them. So whatever your biggest tricking goals are, believe that you're going to get them. Have a plan, think about how you're going to progress to the point where you can achieve those goals. Don't just see them as something that might happen. Don't just think, oh, it'll be cool if I did quad full one day. It'll be cool if I could sugarcane. Think about how you're going to go about getting to that point and believe that you're going to be able to do it. Because if you don't believe you're going to be able to do it, you're not going to be able to do it. I also think the type of music you listen to can really have an impact on this. As when I was younger and didn't believe in myself at all, I listened to more like angsty, emo-y music, and I don't think that helped with training at all. After listening to the works of Kanye West, that helped me quite a lot. If you can listen to music that helps you to believe in yourself, then you're going to be able to improve faster. So I'd recommend just structuring your life around believing that you can achieve things. But you've also got to be prepared to put in all of the work. Because I didn't just believe I could do all these things and they could happen. I knew I needed a strong enough body to do it. So back when I was really getting good, around 2015 to 2017, I was training a ton. I left my office job so I could just teach private one-to-one tricking sessions, which meant I only had to work maybe 12 to 15 hours a week, so I could spend the rest of the time training. I normally cycled around 100 miles a week. I went to the gym at least 5 times a week. I did hot yoga 2 or 3 times a week. I tricked 5 or 6 times a week, and I tried to stretch pretty much every day. So some days I'd get up, go to the gym, go to yoga after that, cycle 10 miles to the tricks gym, teach some classes, and then have a tricking session, and then cycle 10 miles home. So I was putting my body through a lot. Looking back now, I think I was overtraining a bit. That's something I've been working on lately, managing my training and looking after my body a bit more, as I think that's the main reason why I've picked up some of the injuries I have from overtraining. So there is a balance to be found. You got to be patient. It's one thing to believe you can do something, but it's another thing to try and force it and rush towards it. You've still got to take your time and wait until you're actually ready to get these tricks. Don't just jam in as much training as possible, as it can mess you up a bit. So just try and be aware of your body. If things are hurting pretty badly, take some time to rest. I really wish I'd taken more weeks off every so often. Every couple months, if I'd just taken a week off, it probably would have helped me a lot. So if you can learn from my mistakes, I'd recommend you do that. When you do start to believe in yourself more, you might feel like a bit of a stranger, like you're not yourself anymore, but really you can just become an improved version of yourself. You've got to think about the main differences between arrogance and confidence. I used to view confident people as arrogant, when really they just believed that they could achieve things and were confident in themselves. There's a big difference. When you're an arrogant person, then you're more in other people's face. You're trying to get them to know that you can do this and you can do that. But when you have true self-confidence, you just believe that you can do these things. Now, I know this might sound a bit silly, because here I am telling you about my experience and what I think I can achieve and what I've done. So it might sound kind of arrogant, but I'll take the risk. You've got to be prepared to sound arrogant sometimes, or you're just going to hold yourself back. I was so afraid of sounding arrogant or becoming an arrogant person that I put myself down constantly because I thought that was the only way to not be arrogant, and it destroyed my confidence and it really harmed me in tricking and in life. I stopped talking to people really for a couple of years. It really held me back. So if I were to tell my younger self one really important thing, I'd say don't be afraid to be perceived as arrogant. As long as you know yourself, that you're not an arrogant person, you just believe in yourself, then you're good. It doesn't really matter. If some people think you're arrogant, oh well. If you're a confident person, some people are going to think you're arrogant. That's the risk. That's what you've got to take on if you really want to achieve things. This has carried over into other aspects of my life, so I'd really strongly recommend this. I wouldn't have been able to start Kojo's Trick Lab if I didn't believe in myself fully. I'd never really edited before. I didn't own a camera. I have no web skills. People haven't really sold tutorials to trickers much before, so that's not much of a thing either. But I believed 100% that I could make the site happen and make it successful. because I got the important things down. I know that I love tricking enough, I know that I love coaching enough, and I know that I'm prepared to put in the amount of work that it takes. So I'm prepared to work every single day. I'm prepared to be incredibly stressed out and tired in order to get the job done. I knew that I had to take that on when I started it. I also knew that there were going to be people who didn't like that I was charging for tutorials and would give me grief about that. I knew that I was taking on that. So it's one thing to believe you can achieve something, but you actually have to know what it takes to get there. So maybe you believe you can achieve a double cork, but you need to know that it's going to take loads of drilling cork and all the cork variations and drilling double cork on a trampoline maybe or into a foam pit for you to get to that point. I hope that makes sense. I hope it helps. I know I may have gone off topic a bit, but I think all of that stuff's useful. I would have really liked to hear that. Hopefully that just helps you in your life and in your training. When applying it to tricks, all you need to do really is before you're going for any trick, let's say you've just got your double full, you're trying to drill double full. Before you go for each one, you need to tell yourself, I can do this, I've got this down, it's just a double full, it's easy for me. I've done it before, I can do it again. That's something I always hear in my mind. I've done it before, I can do it again. Remind yourself of that, and you'll be able to get your tricks consistent, as you're just repeating the exact same thing. If you've already done it, you can do it again. It's just your own mind holding you back. So I hope that talk helps with your training. Go get those power tricks consistent. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe for new videos every single week. And if you want access to over 400 videos like this made to help you progress faster in tricking, check out kojostricklab.com. There's a link in the description below. So yeah, check that out. We post 24 new videos per month. There's just a lot on there. Go onto the site and you can have a look and see all of the videos that we've got before signing up.